And we're back. Just like we never left.
We're back.
And we're back with a free Facebook. So
there we go.
That's nice. And when I don't really
strange flex.
Obviously, I'm exaggerating. It's not as great as it seems, but it's better than nothing. It's better than how it was.
It'll even the playing field of our social media platforms.
Damn straight. And, you know, Zuckerberg just couldn't allow Musk to be the cool guy that long. You know, like Zuckerberg had to have just felt like in Harvard, like, I'm going to be the cool kid forever. Yeah. Then Musk came in on the block and, you know, made free speech cool. And Zuckerberg was like, fuck, I need to get some of that.
I feel like there's, you know, Zuckerberg, he may have got lost in the being a government fucking shtick, you know? Yep. I mean, and then Musk comes in and he's super popular. And I think, you know, my familiarity with Zuckerberg is going off the movie about him. What's it called? The
Social Network. Yeah, it's a good one.
Where, you know, it kind of seems like he wants to like, doesn't mind being a dick, but wants to be liked, you know? And I think that's grown even more. And you kind of see that with him, like fucking wakeboarding and doing jujitsu and shit. So I think they're like everyone idolizing Elon and hating him probably had some more influence than we would give credit for on him taking down the truth sayers.
Yeah, and how much of a like femboy do you have to be a government stan? Like, come on, like how like lame are you to where you're like, I'm really into content moderation, and you know, I kind of like you know, making sure we put a tamper on hate speech. Whereas, you could be like Elon, just calling people pussies on Twitter.
Which are we gonna get that? I feel like Twitter's kind of it's built a little different. You know?
That's true. But closer is better.
So I wonder how many people at Facebook were working on this. What do you call it? Truth judging, or you know,
they call it content moderation.
Yeah, content moderation. Like what we talking? 1,000 people, 5,000 people? Because on the flip side, Zuckerberg might be looking at Elon like, you know, Elon fired 75% of his staff,
and it was thousands of people,
or 90% or 80% or whatever it is, and you know, it's still operating just the same.
Yeah,
and you know, I feel like Zuck's got that business mind too, where it's like, you know, if I can get rid of, you know, a couple thousand jobs here, man, I could rebuild my house in LA.
Yeah, that just burned down, which we're going to get to too. But here we go. Let's play a little bit of this video that Zuck released here, trying to emulate Musk.
Hey everyone. I want to talk about something important today, because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram. I started building social media to give people a voice. I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting free expression.
I'm just going to pause right there. He started Facebook to give people a voice, and then he shut down all free speech during COVID.
Yeah, I feel like there's, I mean, when the FBI head or whatever, FBI or CIA's telling you to fucking take some shit down, you know, or moderate, you know, certain posts. I mean, it would be tough at the current time to not. I mean, okay, that's kind of what the majority of the people working for him want. I don't know about the majority, you know, maybe half his users want, probably more than half, you know, if we're being completely honest, US-based users. But at some point, you know, it kind of like, well, this got a little extreme. Now everyone hates us.
And can you ever forgive him for what he did during COVID, all the censorship and all the bullshit?
I think Zuck, for me personally, it was like, yeah, fuck you, you know.
Yep.
Good riddance. Although I do love Facebook, but as soon as Elon comes out with Twitter Marketplace, maybe possibly a freer market than Facebook Marketplace, I will gladly end most of my Facebook use.
Yeah, I heard a great analogy on Part of the Problem, which is a great podcast you should check out. I'm going to steal it. He's like, you know, it was like in the 30s, you know, or in the 40s in Germany, and you're just like standing there like, there's Jews in the attic. There's Jews in the attic. Go get them. And then like 1946 rolls around, you're like, yeah, that was a crazy time, right, guys? No, we need to talk about this. What you did was fucked up.
I feel like that's how a lot of the scenario has been treated, in the sense of, it's like, well, we never told you that you had to take the vaccine. It's like, what do you mean? People were getting fired over not taking the vaccine. You said winter of death.
There was just a great video.
It was.
God damn, that I listened to today of Chris Cuomo going, you had a choice.
I seen that. I see that.
You had a choice. You didn't have to take the vaccine. Now there would be consequences.
Right,
it's fuck you. You were giving us the consequences, and you're going to tell us like it was free choice. Like, you could tell the mob you're not going to give them the money, but then they're going to break your legs. Free choice.
Just that screen grab of the White House publication saying, to the unvaccinated, you will face a winter of death and misery, or fucking whatever it was. That's all I need to say. If anyone tries telling me the government wasn't trying to get people to take the vaccines, there you go. I mean,
yep. Let's continue here with Zuck now that we've already decided we're never forgiving his ass.
Yeah, it shames me to still use Facebook. I do love it though.
Yep. Here we go. Let's listen to the man.
But a lot has happened over the last several years. There's been widespread debate about potential harms from online content. Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more. A lot of this is clearly political. But there's also a lot of legitimately bad stuff out there. Drugs, terrorism, child exploitation. These are things that we take very seriously, and I want to make sure that we handle responsibly. So we built a lot of complex systems to...
All right, I'm going to stop it right there, too. Some of it's political.
Some of it.
You mean like all of it?
Yeah, I'm going to put, I get the bailout he's using, Does there probably need to be some type of censorship, like maybe not censorship's the right word, but making sure we're not trafficking kids on your social media platform.
Yeah, if it's against the law, sure, get rid of it. Sorry, but hate speech, your COVID enforcement of censorship.
It's kind of like, I feel like it's like what Elon says. It's like, well, at what point do you draw the line? And they went with the extreme government, line, and then I feel like everyone got pissed off about it,
Putting child pornography and trafficking kind of in the same bucket as, there was some political stuff too. It's kind of fucked up.
I wonder what their, like US based or even world based, like how their app usage has been affected. Like, are they facing a 25% less use of the Facebook app in the US, or what? I wonder if there's some business side to it too. It's not just like, well, Trump's in office now and he's not going to put up with this shit. I got to get on his good side. And it's more like, well, at one point this company was worth $1 billion and now it's worth 700 million. You know?
I don't know. I don't know if he cares about stock, like what he uses to gauge if it's sales revenue on ads, if it's stock price, what he uses to gauge. But clearly something pushed him to do this.
Either that, or you realize he's just some government fucking poster boy, and he just like, well, that's not what I want to be.
Yeah, he may have just realized that now when he walks into the room, he's got to look around to see if Elon Musk is there before deciding if he's the coolest guy.
Right. Yeah, I think there's something. I mean, there's got to be some level of what we would say
social pressure.
I don't know about. I was just gonna say like wanting to be the coolest guy. Some level of jealousy. Jealousy is the right word.
I think the culture is shifting a little bit to where these people during COVID got to, get together at the French Laundry with Newsom and say, hey, us censoring people, like we're doing God's work. We're doing the good thing. Right. And now when they sit around and go, oh yeah, I censored this person, that person, the next guy over at the table that overhears it probably looks at him and is like, loser. Like, what are you doing that for? Like, you should be cool like Elon. Quit being a bitch.
And I totally think you're right. And, when they started doing it all, I mean, politically, that was, the majority popular thing to do, where that's flipped, So yeah, it could just be like, well, this was cool. Now it's not, whether that's influenced by Elon, running Twitter, or just, the general population kind of being sick of it,
Yeah, I think he talks about that a little more. Let's hear what he's got.
Moderate content. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes. Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people. And we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots.
There's another. It's just front running, man. That's what So have Kamala Harris had won? Were they just going to keep censoring people?
Right. Maybe it would have been a little bit more increased. Who knows?
Like, what if the culture hadn't changed? You're just going to keep being fucked up?
Right.
What?
I think there's something to be said about paying your respects to the man in charge. You're gonna do what you need to do to stay in the good graces of the people that tell you what you can do.
And I should put a caveat here that this is a good thing. It's a good change, and adjusting to what the people clearly want is what capitalism is supposed to be about. And better late than never. I am glad that he's made this change, but
and who knows? Maybe Zuck thought maybe the election actually changed his viewpoint on it, and maybe not from a Trump one, and he's gonna talk shit if I don't change this, or he's gonna legally make me change this. But maybe he's like, well, he won the popular vote. That's what the people want. Or he saw one of the things, like, to me, it seemed like the Democrats were more in favor of, doing some more increased social media monitoring, get the fucking England's level here. Or maybe Zuck's even seeing that, he's like, people are going to jail in England for their fucking social media posts, and that's what he's doing is going to evolve into, and maybe it's like, well, yeah, this is bad. You know?
I think he did hit the nail on the head, though, with it's a cultural tipping point. And I think you're right with the popular vote point. It's a good one that I think it took a lot of people that live in the Silicon Valley bubble that he lives in for them to lose the popular vote to say, oh, the majority of America doesn't like us.
And not only
what
that,
we're doing is wrong.
I wonder what Zuck's home base is. Like, I wonder if he permanently resides in Silicon Valley still, or what. But say he does reside in Silicon Valley, or even if he doesn't, and the large majority of his employees do, like how tough of a time is he having? Maybe he lives in Silicon Valley and he's seeing all his friends move out of there, or all his best employees live in Silicon Valley and now they live in Texas.
What I read about Zuckerberg, and this was years ago, this was before COVID, but what I had read is that he has an apartment or a flat or something in Silicon Valley where he lives Monday through Friday. Then during the weekend, he takes a helicopter to an estate he has out by Napa, and lives out there.
But I feel like there's probably something to be said. If he's permanently residing in California, he can kind of see what that political structure is driving the state to become, and how unpopular it is and how many people are just fleeing the state. When really, he's kind of part of that. He's part of that culture. He's part of the culture that's driving
a leader
people.
in that culture.
He's driving people out of the state. So maybe there's some guilt, attached from that standpoint.
Some self-reflection going on. Let's see what else.
Reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. More specifically, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US.
Oh, yeah.
Great change.
After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US. So
I like that.
Nail on the head. I couldn't have said it any better.
Yep. And community notes is a great system.
And maybe, maybe Zuck's, diehard liberal still, but maybe he realized he's part of the reason why the Democrats lost.
Maybe. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Just from the pure hatred of what Facebook, was doing to people.
I think you're right.
For the next couple of months, we're going to phase in a more comprehensive community notes system. Second, we're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with mainstream discourse. What started as a movement to be more inclusive has increasingly been used to shut down opinions and shut out people with different ideas, and it's gone too far. So I want to make sure that people can share their beliefs and experiences on our platforms. Third, we're changing how we enforce our...
Still all good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, whether it's a play to just get more people to use Facebook, or maybe he realized he was the bad guy in the room.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you're right.
Like we're in a new era now, and we're starting to get feedback that people want to see this content again. So we're going to start phasing this back into Facebook, Instagram, and Threads while working to keep the communities friendly and positive. Fifth, we're going to move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California, and our US-based content review is going to be based in Texas. As we work to promote free expression, I think that will help us build trust to do this work in places where there is less concern about the bias of our teams. Finally,
that's pretty...
I mean, that's kind of funny.
I like that.
We're going to move to Texas. You know what? Everyone's getting the fuck out of here. Move to Texas.
And part of this, I feel like, is another business decision. Not only is it, more corporate friendly in Texas, but all the, if you're working remote or hybrid or something, you might as well do it in Texas where there's no income tax.
Yeah.
And make a shit ton more money.
Right.
I think
you live in Texas.
Hey, but better. Most people that listen to this would say better in California.
Yeah.
Better than the Bay Area.
I'll say this. I've been to Texas. Was not a fan whatsoever. I know a couple of people that there's about a 50-50 split on people I know that moved to Texas and are going to stay there.
Yeah.
I have a cousin that moved to Texas. He lived here, lived in Washington, loves Texas. I had, one of our high school friends moved to Texas, hates it. One of my college friends moved to Texas, hates it. I went to Dallas, hated it.
You know too many liberals.
Yeah.
You're too liberal yourself. That's the problem.
Maybe I still have faith in our state being the greatest state in the union. We're just led by morons,
Maybe we'll get you working for the Facebook content moderation team.
Yeah, could be.
There you go. Then you can live in Texas and really get. But I think that's a pretty funny move. You're gonna send I love that he's just like, the bubble in California is too liberal. Get out of here.
Yeah, it's comical, and I don't know. I just don't know. I'd be really curious to know what his true driving motivations are. I mean, there's so many things that it could be. I really would like to know, what it is.
I think that there's a lot of factors, but number one, and I'm trying to get in his mind here, which is never great, but I'm going to do it anyways. I think that he's pissed off. I think the FBI went to him and pulled a fast one on him, and he truly thought that this Hunter Biden laptop shit was Russian disinformation. The FBI, if the FBI went up to you and was like, "Hey, this is going on, we need your help," like, of course you'd be like, "Okay, sure," like,
maybe,
yeah,
I have a natural distrust of all governmental agencies.
In Silicon Valley, they don't have that. No, I think you're right. I don't think they could pull a fast one on us as quickly as they did Zuckerberg. But I think he realizes they kind of played him.
No, I agree.
And he's kind of like, fuck you. Like, I'm the big guy in the room. Like, I'm the billionaire. You're some fuckhead that works for Alphabet Soup. Like, I'm not telling you shit.
I totally agree. I feel like he probably didn't like how much of a icon he became, because of it. And how public the Hunter Biden, and he probably did feel betrayed, being told that this Hunter Biden laptop thing's fake and then it's not. Yeah. And he really, was part of a governmental election influence.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really don't think that he was in on it as much as we would like to think.
Right. He's just kind of doing what he's told, thinking he's doing the right thing. And then bam, he looks like a total fucking jackass.
Yeah. That being said, I still don't forgive him.
Yeah.
I still think that, the Hunter Biden thing, that was beginning of, well, I guess that was more right in the middle of COVID. That was October, November of 2020. But I feel like the censorship that they perpetrated on the COVID stuff was so much worse. So much worse.
Yeah, the Hunter Biden laptop thing for me, I mean, it was bad. It was edited out. The just trying to fact checking people that I know's posts, Yep. It's just like I don't know if I don't really post on Facebook, so I don't think I was ever really part of it. But there's quite a few people that I'm friends with on Facebook that are having their posts fucking taken down or blanked out or what.
You would never know.
Box,
They shadow banned most posts, so you would never know if you were censored or not.
And that's just the ones I saw. Who knows how much shit there was out there that I wasn't seeing. So I think the complex algorithms and we can't have this being out there and have that being out there. I'm just wondering if it was just he's motivated by a loss of use in the app, or he feels some personal obligation to do the right thing, and he feels guilt, or if it's financial or what,
There could be financial reasons too, and it'd be easy to say, oh, we could just go look at, the financial reportings of Facebook. It's like, okay, they can make those numbers look like whatever they want. When you're a monopoly like Facebook, it's
Zuckerberg
monopoly
to
money.
me, Mr. Robot, no emotions. There also could be something to be said for like, just like, we could let 5,000 people go and nothing changes. Let's do it.
Sure. Sure.
Here's your severance package. Fuck you.
Yeah. He thought, and for a while he was the Silicon Valley business tycoon. He was the businessman. Sure. And now Elon Musk comes in and takes that title, and he may be like, hey, he may have some competitive nature in him where he's like, God damn it, I'm going to win it back. I'm going to do it.
There totally could be some competitiveness and some jealousy, you know.
Could be.
It's tough to say.
But just to circle it back, not forgiving him. The censorship that they perpetrated while they were wrong, like that was the worst part of it. Is like, we're on Facebook and you and I, you can go back to our posts and find like, we said all this vaccine bullshit, all the lockdowns. We were saying that was bullshit in June of 2020. Like the 2 weeks to flatten the curve. We're like, fuck you. Like you weren't pulling that on small town America,
Yeah, I'm curious.
And they censored us anyways.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
I really wish I knew it. For me, would I ever forgive Zuckerberg? Probably not. But if I was Zuckerberg, I'd never be involved with the day-to-day operations of Facebook so much. Like if I was him, kind of like Jeff Bezos, I'd just be like, or Elon, all right, you'll never talk to me again. I am now out of the public eye,
But if you didn't love it, you wouldn't be in their position anyway. They're there because that's what they love to do. Like if they weren't getting paid, that's what they'd be doing anyways.
Okay, even with my business, I love doing what I do. There's other stuff I love more.
Well, there you go. Well, but the thing is, that is what they love more. Yeah. Like that is their thing, man.
Get some cooler hobbies.
Yeah. Elon's like, I like rocket. Like rockets are a pretty cool hobby.
Yeah.
That's cool. Owning Twitter is a pretty cool hobby. Like shit posting is pretty cool.
I don't know. I mean, I guess going to UFC and shit's cool, but for me, you'd never fucking hear a word from me again.
There are rich people like you that do that.
Yeah.
There's plenty.
Yeah.
There's probably more of those people than there are Zuckerbergs and Musks.
I'd imagine
actually,
so.
Probably
I
more
would
of them.
for sure imagine so.
They just sell out earlier. Once they hit $1 billion, they're like, all right, I'm out. They don't stick around for 200
Wouldn't even take
billion.
that much.
All right. Well, anything else on Zuckerberg and
all
Facebook?
All you'd have to do is put millions, tens of millions, plural. You'd never hear from me again.
That's all it takes for you to start your hunting YouTube channel.
Yeah. I mean, in my simplicity of life, it's kind of like, how much do you really need? Probably more than I think, but, I feel like you had like 10 mil cash.
Yeah.
I'm good here.
There's a stat on that somewhere which feels like bullshit, but it's something like once you make over $70,000 a year, like you don't really get any happier until you start hitting like tens of millions or something.
Which if I had to guess, I bet that number is a lot higher now, just off of like cost of living, standards.
Biden inflation.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we'll only limit to Biden. Liberal inflation.
Well, you want to shit on Zuckerberg and Facebook anymore before we wrap that little thing up?
Nope. I'm glad they're moving the right way.
Yep.
Forgiving Zuckerberg. He's got some work to do.
Yeah, he's got an uphill climb. I'm glad he's starting it.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's starting the uphill climb. It's better than not.
He's moving back into my neutral graces.
Yeah, and if he keeps on this path, he may save Facebook yet. Maybe it'll stop just being boomers and the fantastic community we have on Facebook.
There's a lot of hate on Facebook, but Facebook Marketplace may single-handedly be keeping Facebook alive.
Yeah.
Because blue-collar people fucking love Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, I love Facebook Marketplace too. I'm with you. All right, let's talk the next big thing that happened. Justin Trudeau, the dictator of Canada, has resigned.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about this till you told me about it before we started here, which I think is kind of hilarious. Did he resign today or yesterday?
Well, it was a couple days ago, I think.
Even I don't know how I haven't heard anything about this. I'm amazed it wasn't bigger news on the Twitter feed. It
was trending for a while, at least for me. I don't know if all of our trendings are the same. I think trending in the United States is the same, right?
I have no idea.
I think it is. But anyways.
I don't really look at like the trending shit, I just scroll through my fucking, suggested for you page or whatever.
You're doing Twitter wrong, man. You're doing it wrong. You gotta get it hateful with the rest of the country. We're all hating in the same direction. We're all just shit. It was just filled with all these videos. It's kind of funny. Trudeau's like, I guess kind of an approachable politician. You go out in public a lot. There are all these videos people posting.
Well, I seen that one of like he was going like skiing or something.
Yep, this is it.
The lady's like, Mr. Trudeau, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, there's a ton of them like that. He's always just like so happy people are coming up to see him. And then they're like, fuck you for fucking taking all my money.
Yeah.
Fuck you for forcing me to take a vaccine and locking me in my home and not letting me go to my dad's funeral and taking our guns and all the other bullshit you did.
And at some point, like, you could kind of put on the brave face like he does, like that doesn't bother you. But I think there's very few people in this world where that actually wouldn't bother them.
Yeah. But how to solve that? Don't be a piece of shit.
Yeah, I also agree.
Because, there's something to be...
But, I mean, you can be hated on like that. And, example, COVID. And not be a piece of shit, and have it mentally wear on you.
And there's just something to,
i.e. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, there's something to, and this is why we take the stances we take and not the liberal socialist bullshit takes, but there's something so much worse about shutting the country down. You say, you can't go to your dad's funeral, and then you're wrong. And you fucked all these people over. Versus, I let people make their own decisions as a politician, and then someone comes up and says, you should have shut down the country sooner. The easy response is, you can stay in your home anytime you fucking want. You don't need the government to tell you to stay in your home. Fuck you. You should have been a more responsible person. Like, what?
I'm kind of curious. I'm just not familiar with, like, Canadian political leanings.
They're just California.
Yeah. But as a population. Is the population leaning that way, or is it?
They were until this year.
Yeah, more central. They're kind of like anyone, kind of getting tired of the bullshit. I mean,
yeah.
They're
much more. I will say their political landscape is more dynamic than ours because, 90% of the Canadian population lives within 100 miles of the border.
Right.
But there are a lot of people that live, east to west. So you could imagine what the politics of the U.S. were like. If it was just you had Alabama and Tallahassee over here and then LA on the other side. That's Canadian politics. It's kind of crazy. And not that many people.
Right. Just kind of badass, I just wonder if it's just kind of the same thing. Like, the general population's leaning this way, and now they're like, wow, that's kind of bullshit. Fuck this shit. Now we're leaning over here.
They realized Justin Trudeau is possibly Fidel Castro's kid.
Yeah. Trudeau is a piece of shit. It's kind of like, how the fuck did this? Who reminds me of is Gavin Newsom. I feel like it's like a copy and paste fucking. You got this shiny, politician who's just a piece of shit, but he actually knows how to play the game.
Political family.
Yeah.
Young, somewhat good looking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He. So I put together a little list here of some of the bullshit he did. He seized the bank accounts of people that were involved in the Freedom Convoy, which were protesting COVID lockdowns.
Is his biggest offense of them all. Like, I'm banning the handguns. Okay, step in the wrong direction for sure. But I do you remember this? And I don't know what else on your list, but to me, this will always strike me as like the biggest what the fuck moment. Because it's kind of like, yeah, you're free to do what you want until you're not.
Yep.
Now your money's ours.
Yep. That they could just seize your bank accounts just for being a part of this convoy or donating to the convoy. That is nuts.
Yeah. Which, I mean, really, is that out of the question to happen here? It's really not. I mean, like, who's to stop them?
No.
I mean,
that's why we will never let them go to a full digital currency.
Right.
Because
we hope.
No, we're not going to let them do it. Like that is a red line.
Okay,
I think,
even right now,
most people.
Okay, just what percentage of your bank account, or I don't know, that you have in liquid ass cash? You know, like, well, you got a couple $100 in your wallet, and you got
very, very little. But I have two reasons for that. One, if I thought that we were going that way again, like I had a lot more cash during COVID. At least I did keep more cash then just because I was kind of worried about shit like that. But number two, and this is the main reason, is that I feel like, I know a lot of people are like, I keep cash in my, safe just in case, there's a big emergency, the government collapses or something. I'm like, cash? You should be keeping bullets.
Yeah.
Like that will be, if the government collapses, bullets are the currency, not cash. That is the opposite of what you should have.
To me, not so, and who knows, maybe Trump ends up being dictator like everyone says he is. I don't think we're that far away from being in the same boat of having our bank accounts frozen by the government. I think our government's gotten to the point of just fucking massive gluttony, So I really don't think we're as far as away as a lot of people would want us to be,
Yeah, and I think too that, and maybe the Canadians felt this way as well, but a barter system would suck, but I feel like we could get by. Man, as I'm saying this, I'm kind of backtracking. I think you're right.
When you're going to buy a pickup,
it's a big threat, and I think a lot of people are going to be like, "This is why I keep tons of cash. This is why I don't own a bank account." Fair enough, but you're right. I do most of my transactions electronically.
Yeah, as and I noticed this just going to the store. Our generation is the end of cash. I mean, it's so convenient to tap your credit card. I will say, as far as people I just see at the grocery store / people, that I go to dinner with or hang out with or whatever, I probably use cash the most. And that's because I come into cash in ways that I don't want to talk about.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing is, another reason I do most of my transactions electronically, and I'm okay with that despite, us needing cash, is if we go to a full digital currency, there is no going back.
Right.
Whereas right now, I can swipe my credit card as much as I like, whatever. But if the government does one sketchy thing, I can have all my cash in 5 minutes.
Right.
Like I go right to the ATM, I get all my cash out, and bam, now I'm, how I want to be.
Not all your cash.
Right. 10% of my cash if we're not running on the banks. That's true. Don't do a run on the banks, though, please. I did not condone a bank run.
I don't know. I think the end of cash is maybe the next 20 years.
Think so?
Yeah. maybe a little longer, but our generation, our generation doesn't use cash, and I think that's not exemplified any more than just what you use in your daily life. I think there's exceptions to that. I think there's still some people that do, but I think cash is peaked. It's on its way out. And I hate to see that.
Yeah, me too.
But when I tell people I hate to see that, use more cash.
I would really encourage vendors to continue accepting cash.
Yeah. The not accepting cash is total fucking bullshit, you know. That blows me away. But when I go to the store, I'd say people in like my parents' generation pay with cash.
Yeah.
Yep. Me, I'm a big cash at restaurants guy for whatever reason. I was like, well, I have this cash. Yeah, I use it at a restaurant, tip in cash. Here you
Tipping
go.
in cash is always good.
Yeah. But go to the grocery store, I'm a card tap. It's just fucking more convenient, and out of there.
I'll cut this list down. We'll just kind of hit the couple things you talked about. The seizing the guns is another thing. Yeah. They outlawed possession of handguns, and I want to say semi-automatic weapons too, but I'm not 100% sure on this.
That does kind of sound familiar, but I don't know if they ever did or not.
Either way, it's bullshit. In my view, that's a crime against humanity. You shouldn't, the way I see it, my right to protect myself is a right from God, not the government.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get to tell me I can't have a handgun. Like, no, that's why I have a handgun. Because if you don't want me to have it, you should get to walk over here and tell me why I can't have it. And then I'm going to shoot you. Like,
the handgun banning thing, hey, nah.
Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And, it's kind of shocking. And you kind of mentioned this with the UK and their free speech laws. And that's something we didn't talk about with Zuckerberg, actually. But in Canada with their guns, like, even in the Western world, our Constitution is so strong and rare. Yeah. It's really frustrating to see people in the UK arrested for their Facebook posts, same with people in the Netherlands, and then people in Canada just having their guns outlawed in their safes. I mean, that is just complete bullshit.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it just like new sales outlawed, or were they doing gun confiscations?
I think possession.
Oh, really?
I think you had to go turn your gun in. If you had,
only if the government knew about it.
Yeah, when you live in British Columbia and the.
But I really feel bad. I wonder if they went and did a raid on the guy that lives, 100 miles away from the Arctic Circle, and they took his .357 Win Mag that he shot 10 polar bears with.
I know that they kept semi-automatic, or not semi-automatic, like bolt-action rifles. Those are still legal. Like, you can have hunting rifles and shotguns. I think that's it. Yes, Canada has a gun buyback program. It does not say.
See, I thought the handgun, and I could totally be wrong about this, but for whatever reason, I thought it was they outlawed the ban of all new sales, and but if you had one, they would buy it back, but there was no legal obligation to.
Yeah. I got it here, actually. So here we go. In 2020, the government banned 1,500 assault rifle style firearms. In 2022, they announced a mandatory gun buyback for all military style assault weapons, which for them is just anything that looks scary.
Yeah.
And then in 2022 of October, they froze all handgun transfers.
Yeah.
So the semi-automatic guns, they did the seizures and buybacks. The handguns, everything's frozen. You can no longer buy them. So I think with frozen transfers, you can't even give them to your kid or anything.
Right. I think so.
So mandatory gun buyback.
That's only if they know about it. I lost most of my handguns in a recent boating accident.
I lost all of my guns in boating accidents.
I was taking them down the river to see someone, and then the boat tipped over. Yeah, they're in the river somewhere.
Go find them.
Yeah, it was during the last flood.
I was just at. I think it's actually at Sportsman's Warehouse, our local one, where it's like it had a sign saying like. Falsely reporting firearms missing or stolen is a crime.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Only if you get caught. So, yep, Trudeau, piece of shit, got rid of all the guns. And also, GoFundMe, if you have to do a fundraiser, try not to use GoFundMe because GoFundMe helped the government track all of the donations made to the convoy. And they were going to reroute them to a different charity. Yeah. And then a bunch of governors threatened to sue the shit out of them and for fraud. And then they said, okay, fine, we're actually not going to do that.
Now that you say that, I do remember that.
Yep. Fuck you, GoFundMe, for all the people you tried to help. You chose the tyrannical government.
You bastards.
As always. Sellouts, man. Complete sellouts. Well, you got anything else to hit the people with while we're here?
Oh, we're not gonna talk fire, huh?
Let's save it for the next one.
Save it for the next one.
All right.
LA's burning down.
Let's wrap it up. We'll hit it on the next one.